All right. Hey, it's Matt Lee with schematical.com. And with me, as always, Dominic DeMarco. Dominic, thanks for joining.
Happy Tuesday. Always a pleasure to be here.
So, today we're going to talk about Tech Debt, the video game. I got an update for you. If you haven't seen it, we've got a trailer. I call it 0.1. I could have kept picking at it and going back and forth with the editor, but he got it somewhere in the ballpark was what I was thinking, and so we got to release it sometime. So we're going to release that, and then we'll probably do a couple more versions and iterations on it because I'm going to do some rather large podcasts with rather big following. So I got to have something up there live before I do those. Not my podcast, but other
You're
ones.
going to iterate on the game or the trailer?
Both, but definitely the trailer and yes, the game, of course, but the trailer. This is not the final trailer for it. I'm just going to put it that way. This
Okay,
is
so
the
you've
alpha.
been doing a bunch of not computer work about this, whether it's all the work it took to set up Steam and the other platforms to get these trailers ready, all of the assets and everything else. So, I mean, what are some of those other things that have been just time consuming, just things you have to do?
Yeah. So Steam requires you to jump through a lot of hoops, and they require a lot of assets. And so, first thing I had to do was hire a capsule artist. So the art that they use on Steam for your thumbnails and all that stuff is called capsule art. There's nuances to it. There's hero images and there's this and that, but they basically had to make several variations of the logo, of the illustration, of all that stuff, and have separate versions of that we could upload. And that took a while to go back and forth with that guy. Did a pretty good job though, I'd say.
Mhm.
Pretty professional. I went through three of those actually. The first two, one of them got booted off the platform because they were scammers, and then they tried reaching out to me from other
Mm.
things. The other one just didn't do it, which is nice. I got my money back. Went through Fiverr or one of those to make sure I was
Hmm.
protected. So yeah, and
Very
then
mixed very mixed results on platforms like that. Very mixed.
mhm, yeah, and my video editor, very cost efficient, fairly, technical skills pretty good, following directions. We could have communicated better, I'm sure.
Mhm.
And it just took a while. I'll be honest, had a lot of things going on, so juggling that, it kind of slows me down a little bit. So I slowed down the process myself, but um, yeah. And so that was that. I'm also taking a course from how to market a videogame.com. I think that's what it's called. And so I made it about halfway
Is
through
is
that.
that the URL? Is that literally
It's
the
something
URL?
how to market a game.com or something like that. It is.
Mm. Tell me what you do.
And I'm not recommending this course for anybody yet. I'm
Mm.
only partially through it. And I'll let you, you know what, ask me after the video game launches on Steam.
Mm.
And then I'll tell you if I recommend the course. Because so far, I think some of it might be a little outdated, but a lot of it
Mm.
he's keeping up to date. So we'll see. There's a lot of different facets to this and a lot of different strategies and nuances that, as you can imagine, and marketing's never been my strong point personally. Always something I'm working on, but yeah. So I got partially through that course, and then a client showed up and asked me to do a proposal for a pretty big project. So I
Mm.
got completely
Mm.
derailed for that, and now I started getting back into it, but I've got the next. I'm actually taking basically this upcoming weekend off through the following weekend, so that will derail
For
me
those of
further.
you that have for those of you that have this scheduled in their calendar, there will not be a regular podcast next week. Not a live
Yes,
stream, rather.
yes. If anybody has this in their calendar besides you, me, and Lorato, I'll be a monkey's uncle. If you do,
We've
leave a
had
comment.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Uh,
yeah, there's all the marketing stuff, and technically
and
we're
then there's a bunch of forward-looking stuff beyond that, because after Steam, you move on to different platforms and different requirements. Like, what does the evolution look like, after that even? What's all the other administrative stuff that need be done?
we're gathering people to do play tests right now.
Okay.
So that's good. We need the play testing first. We'll do a couple rounds of that likely to make sure that people like it and enjoy it, and then we'll start
Okay,
promoting
so
it.
how does somebody sign up to be a play tester?
If you go to, you go to schematical.com/tech debt, and you can get on the email list right there. So, or just
Mhm.
shoot me an email if you're getting this in an email, or leave a DM and I'll get you that list one way or the other. Okay. I want somebody on my team will, or I will. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But schematical.com/tech debt. I'm pretty sure that's got the sign up
Why don't
list
you-
there. Let me
yeah.
double check that just to be sure. I should add the trailer to that one. Yep, there you go. Sign up for your spot for the upcoming beta. So,
Okay.
I should add the trailer to that. But if you're looking for the trailer, go to youtube.com/schematical, and you will see it in probably the most recent video, depending on when you listen to this. I guess this will be the most recent video, but somewhere up there. Um, let's see. But yeah, we'll do the play test, gathering feedback from the play test to improve the game. I'm on the verge of saying, do I want to do early access? Do I not want to do early access? Because I think we can go further with this if we do it early access, and I want to
Mhm.
get it in people's hands sooner, and all that. And I've seen some people do really well with early access, but this marketing guru says don't do it. I don't know if I'm going to listen to him now.
Mhm. Well,
So
I'm sure there's people that have written books on multiple different strategies that have been
yeah,
successful at some point.
right. No, yeah. I mean, we do have an end kind of game in mind, but part of me, is where do we draw the line to say this is a done game and the rest is DLC or anything like that? This
Mm.
downloadable content, which I'd rather not do. I'd rather make it open ended, just keep improving on it and improving on it, and so that's why I'm aiming for, the early access. Start getting this snowball rolling downhill, hopefully.
So how
Um,
many like testers in a perfect world? I mean, do you have any idea what that looks like? Is it 10? Is it 100? Is it
a couple hundred per round would be nice. Get
okay?
a good
Okay.
cross section. We've got a handful already signed up. It's in the double digits. I would say 50 or so, 60 or so that have signed up to
Okay.
play test it, based mainly on the thumbnail, I think, because they're not from my audience that I know of.
Hmm.
So that's nice. Yeah, and we just did our first uh, devlog community post recently, so I need to check on that and see, because people have
Mm.
followed the game and wishlist the game already, so hopefully they're thumbs upping that or interacting with that in some capacity.
Mm.
So, yeah, but then once we're done with the play test, we'll be able to release it to, in early access ideally, and just do rounds and rounds of releases over time. The games I follow, they do at least one a month or one a quarter at the least, usually.
So does this mean do you buy the updates or do you
No, this
get the
that's the
updates?
beauty of why I want to do early access. Because if I did the other way, I could still release it, but like it wouldn't be incentive to add like a ton of content to it. I
Mm.
want it to be where they pay once, and maybe because if we're gonna increase the price, as we add more content to it. So maybe you
Mm.
buy the $3 version at launch, and then you've got that. Then when I add the content and bump the price up to 5 to 10, you just
Mm.
get that content already, and you get rewarded for being an early supporter. I don't want to
Got
tax
it.
my early supporters
Got it.
there. So yeah, that's my strategy right now. I'm trying not to let it grow to this, giant crazy scope where I'm adding everything in the kitchen sink. There
Mm.
will be, we're gonna put a bow on this eventually, but again, I don't think we've reached the edge of where we had originally planned. There's all sorts of little
No,
details.
there is. I'll grant you that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more. Like we've laid the groundwork. I've made it. The core gameplay loop is entertaining enough that people will play in circles. You
Now
know.
we need some chaos thrown at it to see what needs addressing.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just working on the difficulty scaling, which makes it more fun to replay. So you can
Mm.
play it at seed difficulty, or it's like what's it? Early, like friends and family, seed
Mm.
round,
Series A,
series A,
etc.
yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
So work your way up, and then you can expand, and it unlocks more missions, and the reward rarity gets increased, but at the same time the difficulty gets increased, and you can unlock more starting capital and all that. But yeah, and I added just a tad of story to the main gameplay, where the tutorial, I think you've probably actually seen this before, but I don't know if the world has. But the tutorial is with the Schematobot, and it's basically you in your garage making your first website and launching that. But then once you get past that, then you get a technical, or you are the technical co-founder, and you get a non-technical co-founder, in which case they add a little bit of flavor to it, just saying, hey, we're going to do this, and then as you go you can unlock more, a marketing person and so on. Each of them have their own missions, and add just the slightest bit of story to it. Not, I don't want to make it this big grandiose over the top thing, but like just something to tell you why you're doing what you're doing, otherwise it was a little flat. And so just a hint of story will work. I'm stealing from this game called Tiny Rogues, and it's just gives you just enough to be like, this is why you're crawling through a dungeon. This is pretty much the same thing. It's like, this is why you're doing a tech startup. So yeah,
a little bit of Office Space sprinkled in there.
There will be some humor from Office Space and Easter eggs galore. I'm going to rewatch Silicon Valley, and then steal as many Easter eggs and put that in there as possible. But yeah, that's the current state of the game. It's coming along. I fixed a ton of the little things you found, so that's good. There's still areas where you could bang your elbows on it a little bit, so I'd like to polish that out. But I think getting that core loop, like the meta progression loop, just a little more hammered out, a little more fun is good, because you can't. Before you could beat the first stage with just the upgrading the application server, and difficulty 2, you can't do that. You'll be down. So you've got to do it just a little more.
You got to do 2 things. You got to do that and something.
Yeah, but then you've got, you can unlock some things in between, which is nice. And you get, prestige points is what they call them in games. We call them or vested shares. Vested shares is, vested shares in the company. They don't actually work at all like vested shares, but whatever. And so, that's going to make it so it's got that more replayability in it. You're like, okay, I've unlocked these 6 things.
If I go this other direction, can I use these different things in a different configuration?
Exactly. Yes.
So could I use like a caching system versus a database, just to try something crazy and different? Would that work?
Yeah, you just skip binary storage altogether, or you could double down on binary storage and go to the CDN route and all that stuff, and keep image optimizing. So it's gonna, there's some fun to be had here, and I feel like we can go pretty far.
What's been up to?
Whoop, you cut out there. Whoop. I hope I got local recording turned on. Well, we've been going for a while. Yep, Dom's gone. All right. Well, we've been going for a while here. And so thank you guys for watching. Again, if you guys are interested in being a playtester, go to schematical.com/techdebt. If you're interested in learning more about cloud infrastructure, if you have an AWS issue where you've got costs or security or scalability issues, that's what I do for a living. So check out schematical.com/consulting. We got a ton of free resources. So yeah, but the game is what I'm really excited about, because you're going to teach people about cloud infrastructure, and in a fun way. With that said, I'm Matt with Schematical. Have a great day. It's always awkward finding the end stream button here. Here we go.